the Kochi Cluster Final of the Cycle Heritage Quiz 2021. The cycle brand takes great pride in India's heritage and culture and has centered the company's mission and vision around the same. Hence, the cycle brand has conceptualized the Cycle Heritage Quiz with a view to enlighten young minds on the 5,000-year-old heritage of our nation. The Cycle Heritage Quiz is an all-India level quiz competition that celebrates India's rich culture and heritage, with participants spanning the length and breadth of the country. We've had participants from Jammu and Kashmir. We've had participants from Lakshadweep as well. Through this quiz, participants get a chance to showcase their knowledge and passion for India's heritage. And it's a reflection of the passion for India's heritage that we have had around 30,000 registrations for this quiz. As we know, we are still dealing with the effects of the global pandemic. Hence, we bring to you the Cycle Heritage Quiz 2021 in a special online format. In this quiz, we have divided India into 18 different clusters. After a preliminary round, where participants to start in 4 rounds with questions on the heritage of our nation, also the heritage of their region, we have our 6 cluster finalists for each cluster. Today, we have the Kochi Cluster Final, where participants comprise of students from various parts of the state of Kerala. So now it's time to meet our 6 participants for today. So first we have Aman B. Manoj from Bhavans Vidya Mandir, Elamakra. Hi, Aman.
Hi, sir.
So Aman, tell me something. Which is your favorite heritage location in India?
Sir, it's New Delhi.
And have you been to New Delhi?
No.
Okay, but you like the famous monuments and everything. Okay. And next we move on to Srinand Sudesh from GMHSS CU Campus, Kozhikode. Srinand, how was your experience of taking part in the preliminaries of the Cycle Heritage Quiz?
It was such a great experience. Like 4 preliminary rounds was itself great, comprising of good standard questions, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it. It was super.
Great, Srinand, and all the best for today's quiz. Next, we move on to Rupin, who's from Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan in Kannur. So, Rupin, feeling confident of your chances today?
Yes, sir.
Great, and all the best to Rupin. And next, we have Rudashri from Christnagar EHSS Thiruvananthapuram. Hi, Rudashri. So, Rudashri, tell me, what did you enjoy most about the preliminary round of the Cycle Heritage Quiz?
I could know more about many heritage sites.
Okay, that's great, and all the best to you, Rudashri. I'm sure you'll get some questions on heritage sites in this quiz. Next, we have from Bhavans Vidya Mandir, Elamakra, we have Sarang LB. Hi, Sarang.
Namaste, sir.
So, Sarang, tell me, how confident are you of winning this quiz?
I am 50% confident.
You are confident, so all the best, Sarang, and wish you all the best. Let's meet our 6th participants, that is Ila Lakshmi Sharma from Bhavans Vidya Mandir, Elamakra. Hi, Ila.
Hi, sir.
And Ila, so what was the most challenging part of the preliminary rounds of the Cycle Heritage Quiz for you?
It was actually not challenging because we had options, so we could guess.
Great. So we do start off with a multiple choice round. So maybe you'll find that easy as well. So with that, we meet all our 6 participants of today's Kochi Cluster Final. And now we are ready to start off with our first round, which is Laksha Bheda. So those were your 6 participants of the Kochi Cluster Final. Now it's time to start off with our very first round, which is Laksha Bheda. And let's take a look at the rules. So 1 question per participant. This round does not count. So each question has 4 options. Each participant gets 3 attempts to get each answer, plus 15 if you get the answer in the first attempt, plus 10 if you get it in the second attempt, and plus 5 if you get the answer in the third attempt. All right. So remember, this round does not pass, and you get 3 attempts to crack each answer. So now it is time for the first question of the Kochi Cluster Final. The question is for our first participant. Aman, your question. 26th November is observed as Constitution Day, as it was the day when which body adopted adopted the Constitution of India, which came into effect on 26 January 1950? Is it A, Constituent Assembly? Is it B, Union Cabinet? Is it C, Rajya Sabha? Or is it D, Supreme Court of India?
Is it D? Option D, Supreme Court of India.
Okay, let's click on option D, which is Supreme Court of India. I'm sorry, that's the wrong answer. You have another attempt, of course.
C, Rajya Sabha.
Okay, let's click on C, Rajya Sabha. One last attempt remaining. This was also wrong. So one last attempt for you, Aman.
Is it A, Constituent Assembly?
Okay, let's click on A, Constituent Assembly. And that's correct. So 5 points for you, Aman. Constituent Assembly was, of course, one of the major purposes of that was to draft the Constitution. So the Constituent Assembly was approved the Constitution on 26 November 1949, and first Constitution Day was celebrated very recently. So 5 points for you, Aman. Now we move on to our next participant, Srinand. Your question coming up on screen now. On the west, the limits of which of these water bodies runs from Sadashivgarh in Karnataka to Kora Div in Lakshadweep? On the west, the limits of which of these water bodies runs from Sadashivgarh in Karnataka to Kora Div in Lakshadweep? Is it A, Andaman Sea? Is it B, Arabian Sea? Is it C, Laccadive Sea? Or is it D, Alboran Sea?
Sir, I will go with B, Arabian Sea.
Okay, let's click on B, Arabian Sea. It's not the right answer. Your next attempt.
Sir, I will go with C, Laccadive Sea.
Okay, let's click on C, Laccadive Sea. Absolutely correct. Lakshadweep was the big clue. So the answer is, of course, the Laccadive Sea. 10 points for you, Srinand. And now we will move to our third participant, who is Rupin. Rupin, your question coming up on screen now. From 1300 AD to 1806 AD, nearly 120 rulers who bore what common title ruled the Malabar coast with their base at Kozhikode? Is it Chakravarti? Is it Tirunal? Is it Tamarins? Or is it Shah?
So C, Zamorins.
Let's click on C, Tamarins. Yes, the famous Zamorins of Calicut. Absolutely correct. Good start for you, Rupin. 15 points to start off this quiz. And we'll move on to our next participant, Rudashri. Your question coming up on our screens now. Your question: which famous musician who also composed the music for Satyajit Ray's famous movie Pather Pachali served as music director for All India Radio from 1949 to 1956? Is it A, Ustad Amjad Ali Khan? Is it B, Pandit Ravi Shankar? Is it C, Bismillah Khan? Or is it D, Hari Prasad Chaurasia?
It is B, Pandit Ravi Shankar.
Okay, let's click on B, Pandit Ravi Shankar. Okay, Rudashri answers confidently Pandit Ravi Shankar, and Pandit Ravi Shankar indeed is the correct answer. So well done, 15 points for you, Rudashri. And now we move on to our next participant, Sarang. Sarang, your question coming up on screen now. This performing art originated from Kaliyat. The indigenous tribal communities were handed over the responsibility to perform this. These tribes included Malayar, Pana, Vanan, and Velam. Which performing art is being talked about? Is it A, Mohiniyattam? Is it B, Kuchipudi? Is it C, Kalaripayattu? Or is it D, Theyyam?
Sir, D, Theyyam.
Saran answers D, Theyyam. Again, very confident. Let's see whether that's correct or not. Absolutely the right answer. Well done. 15 points for Saran. Great start. And now we'll move on to our sixth participant, Ela. Your question coming up on your screen now. So Ela, your question. Arjuna and Duryodhana both went to seek the support of Lord Krishna before the Kurukshetra war. Arjuna, of course, received the personal support of Lord Krishna as a charioteer. What did Duryodhana receive from Lord Krishna? Is it A, Pradyumna? Is it B, Panchajanya? Is it C, Sudarshan Chakra? Or is it D, Narayani Sena?
Option B, Panchajanya Conch.
Okay, option B, Panchajanya Conch. Let's get that. Sorry, that's the wrong answer. Your next try, please.
Option D, Narayani Sena.
Let's click on option D, Narayani Sena. 10 points. Well done. That's a good start for you. 10 points for you, Ela. And with that, to the end of number 1, Lakshveda. It's time we move on to our second round, which is called Jigyasa. So round 2 is called Jigyasa, and here are the rules. So 1 direct question per participant. This round passes clockwise, plus 10 for every correct answer, whether it be on direct or on. We'll once again start off with our first participant, that is Aman. Aman, your question coming up on screen now. Your question? He's a dark and handsome archer with mischievous eyes. He rides a parrot with 5 flowers as arrows. He rouses the 5 senses. A sugarcane rich with the sap of life serves as the shaft of his bow. Bees seeking the nectar of worldly delight serve as bowstring. Who is he?
Sir, is it Arjun?
Someone, that's the wrong answer, and we need to pass to Srinang. Srinang, what's your answer?
I would guess it as Kamadeva.
It is indeed Kamadeva, absolutely correct. 10 points for you, Srinang. Very good answer. The next direct question is for you. Coming up on screen now. Originally called Ahimsaka, at one time he was a brilliant student at the University of Taxila. Other students were jealous of him and succeeded in poisoning their teacher's mind against him, with the result that the teacher asked of him an almost impossible honorarium. Instead of giving up, the young man set out to get the honorarium and was forced to resort to violence and killing in order to obtain them. By what name do we know Ahimsaka better?
Sir, I would guess it as Bhaskaracharya.
Not Bhaskaracharya. Moving to our third participant, Rupin, passes to you.
Sir, is it Kautilya?
Not Kautilya. Passing to Rudashri.
Is it Angulimala?
It is indeed Angulimala. Very good answer, Rudashri. 10 points for you. Fantastic answer. It is indeed Angulimala. Very good answer. Now we'll move on to the third question for Rupin. Rupin, your question coming up on screen now. Rupin, your question? She agreed to be carried by the sage Agastya in his commander on the condition that she is never left alone. When sage Agastya reached the Kurg region, the place of drought, he got confused and requested gods to guide him through. It was then Lord Ganesha, disguised as a crow, tipped the common. The mythological origin of what water body is being talked about. This is for
Sir, is it Kaveri?
Lord Agastya or Rishi Agastya, Lord Ganesha, story of the crow, the story of the birth of Kaveri River. Very good answer, Rupin. Once again, plus 10. Fantastic answering. The next question is for Rudashri. Rudashri, your question coming up on screen now. The question: the modernized version of this instrument has 31 bridges and 91 strings. The resonance is cut down by placing the instrument on the lap of the player rather than on a wooden stand. The instrument is played with the help of 2 wooden mallets known as mezrabs. What musical instrument is being talked about?
Sir, it is Santoor.
Superb answer, Rudashri. Very, very confident with all her answers so far. It is indeed the Santoor, plus 10. And we'll move on to our next question for our fifth participant, that is Sarang. Sarang, your question coming up on screen now. Who was awarded the Nobel Prize because of his profoundly sensitive, fresh, and beautiful verse by which, with consummate skill, he has made his poetic thought expressed in his own English words a part of the literature of the West?
Is it Rabindranath Tagore?
It is indeed Rabindranath Tagore. This is from the Nobel Prize website. This is the exact description on why he won the Nobel Prize. Superb answer, Sarang. Great scoring at the Kochi Cluster Finale. So 10 points to you, Sarang. We'll now move on to our sixth participant, Ela. Let's see if Ela can continue the trend of 10 pointers. Ela, your question coming up on screen now. Ela, your question. His most famous work documented the causes of more than 1100 diseases, the use of hundreds of medicinal plants, and instructions for performing scores of surgical procedures, including 3 types of skin grafts and reconstruction of the nose. Whose famous work is being talked about?
Pass.
Passing? Okay. Let's move on to Aman.
Is it Sushruta?
It is indeed Shushruta. Well done, Aman. 10 points to you. So all questions answered in this round. So great scoring from all of you. We'll now move on to a short look at the scores before moving on to round number 3. At the moment, leading the quiz is Rudashri with 35 points. Tied at second spot is Rupin and Sarang on 25 points. Then we have Srinang on 20 points. Then we have Aman on 15 points. And at 10 points, we have Ela. So now it's time to move on to a third round, which is called Trishanku. Let's take a look at the rules. So 1 question per participant. If this round also does not pass, 3 clues leading to something or someone, plus 15 for getting it in the first attempt, plus 10 for second, plus 5 for getting it in the third attempt. This time we'll reverse the order. So we'll start with our first clue for Ela. Ela, your first clue coming up on screen now. So Ela, your first clue. Her paternal half sibling's name was Yutsu.
Next clue, please.
Okay, next clue coming up on screen. The Pandavas' Ashwamedha sacrifice horse was challenged by her son Suratha.
Next clue.
Okay, moving on to your last clue for Ela. She was Gandhari's only daughter after 100 sons.
Pass.
Okay, passing. Anyone else wants to try? Who was Gandhari's only
Sir,
daughter?
can I?
Sure. Go ahead.
Dushala?
Yes, Dushala is correct. Absolutely. Because no one gets any points for this one because it does not pass. So Ela, unfortunately, no points for you on this one. We'll now move on to our next participant, who is Sarang. Sarang, your first clue coming up on screen now. Sarang, your first clue. He was the first person to study the harmonic nature of Mridangam and Tabla.
Sir, Bharatamuni?
Can you please repeat?
Sir, Sage Bharata?
No, that's wrong. Let's move on to our next clue. He was appointed to be the first Indian director of Indian Institute of Science or IISc in 1933.
C.V. Raman?
Yes, it is C.V. Raman. Well done. 10 points to you, Sarang. Very good answering. And now we'll move on to our next participant who is currently leading the quiz, and that is Rudashri. Rudashri, your first clue coming up on screen now. This musician played under the tutelage of Bholanath Prasanna of Varanasi for 8 years.
Sir, is it Hari Prasad?
It is indeed Hari Prasad Chaurasia. Absolutely correct. 15 points for you, Rudashri. Well done. Continuing the great streak of answering questions. And next, we move on to Rupin. Rupin, your first clue coming up on screen now. So Rupin, your first clue. This university was awarded the Visitors Award for Best University in 2017 by the President of India.
Sir, next clue.
Okay, let's move on to the next clue. The university's alumni include 2019 Nobel Laureate for Economics, Professor Abhijit Banerjea, and former Prime Minister of Libya, Ali Zaidan.
Sir, next clue.
Okay, the last clue for you. This university is named after the son of Motilal and Swaroop Rani.
Jawaharlal Nehru University.
So yes, Rupin, you indeed got this one right. It is indeed Jawaharlal Nehru University. Jawaharlal Nehru, the son of Motilal Nehru and Swaroop Rani Nehru. So well done, Rupin. You get 5 points. And now we'll move on to our next question for Srinand. Srinand, your first clue coming up on screen now. Srinand, your first clue. A match consists of 2 innings with each inning consisting of chasing and running turns of 9 minutes each. You have to name the sport.
Sir, I would guess it as Kho.
It is Kho. Well done, Srinand. 15 points for you. Superb answering. Great scoring here at the Kochi Cluster Finale. And now we move on to our next question for Aman. Aman, your first clue coming up on screen now. The Western Chalukya king and scholar Someshwara III included this dish's recipe in his encyclopedia Manasulasa and described the food as Idarika.
Is it sambar?
Not sambar. Moving on to your next clue. The dish is made as an offering to the deities at the Varadaraja Perumal temple in Kanchipuram.
Rasam?
Not rasam. Let's move on to your last clue. The major ingredients of this dish, especially popular as a breakfast item, is rice and urad dal.
Idali?
Yes, of course, it is idli made from rice and urad dal. So 5 points for you, Aman. With that, we come to an exciting third round, which was Trishanku at the Cycle Heritage Quiz 2021 Kochi Cluster Finale. And now we'll take a look at the scores before moving on to our last round. So the scores after 3 rounds are as follows. Leading the quiz right now is Rudashri with 50 points. 2 people are tied for second spot. That is Srinand and Sarang, both on 35 points. We have Rupin, who's close behind on 30 points. Then we have Aman on 20 points and Ela on 10 points. A reminder that 2 people from the Kochi Cluster Finale will qualify for the national quarterfinals of the Cycle Heritage Quiz 2021. So let's see which 2 it will be as we move along to our next round, which is called Divya Drishti. And let's take a look at the rules of Divya Drishti. So 1 direct question per participant, all based on visuals. It passes anti-clockwise, plus 10 for every correct answer, direct or on pass. Remember, the question won't be on screen, the visual will be on screen, and I'll be asking you the question. The first visual is for Ela. Ela, your visual coming up on screen now. So Ela, these are tea plantations on a hill range named after a particular spice. Name the hill range.
Munnar.
It's not Munnar. Passing on to our next participant, Sarang.
Cardamom Hills?
It is indeed Cardamom Hills. Very well done, Sarang. You get plus 10. That was a crucial answer for you. Sarang, the next direct question comes to you. Your visual coming up on screen now. Okay? Your question is, this fort is named after which South Indian ruler? One of the names given to this fort is named after which South Indian ruler?
Pass.
Passing, Rudashri?
I pass.
Okay, Rudashri passes. We'll move on to our next participant, who is Rupin. Rupin?
Sir, pass.
Rupin also passes. Srinand?
Sir, I would guess this as Tipu Sultan Fort, which is originally the Palakkad Fort.
Okay, this is the Tipu Sultan Fort built by Hyder Ali, originally the Palakkad Fort. Absolutely correct, Srinand. Plus 10 for you. That's a crucial plus 10. And now we'll move on to our next participant. Next question is for Rudashri. Rudashri, your visual coming up on screen now. Okay, Rudashri, simple question for you. Name this traditional sport which was demonstrated at the 1936 Berlin Olympics.
It is Mallakhamba.
It is Malakham, absolutely correct. Well done. 10 points for you, Rudashri. Very, very good answer and probably a crucial answer for you. It is indeed Malakham. And now we'll move on to the next question, which is for Rupin. Rupin, your visual coming up on screen now. Okay, Rupin, just look at this sculpture carefully. This depicts a particular battle in the Mahabharata between Karna and whom? This visual depicts a battle between Karna and whom?
The pass.
Passing, moving on to Srinand.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Sir, I think I would guess this as Arjuna, Karna and Arjuna.
Karna and Arjuna? No, it's not Karna and Arjuna. Moving on to Aman.
It's a battle between Karna and it's Arjuna itself, I think so.
You are saying Karna and Arjuna. It's not Arjuna. Moving on to our next participant, which is Ela. Ela, what's the answer?
No, sir.
Okay, passing, and we move on to Sarang. Yeah, Sarang, what's the answer?
I would guess at Karna and Lord Shiva.
Not Karna and Lord Shiva. Moving on to Rudashri.
I guess the battle is between Karna and Ghatotkacha.
Yes, it is indeed the battle between Karna and Ghatotkacha, which was a very crucial battle where Karna used the Shakti Astra given by Indra, which was actually meant to kill Arjuna. He was saving it to kill Arjuna. But this is the battle between Karna and Ghatotkacha. Plus 10 for you, Rudashri. Very good answering. And now we have the next question for Srinand. Srinand, your visual coming up on screen now. Okay, Srinand, simple question for you. Name this famous writer.
Okay, sir. This is Vaikam Muhammad Bashir.
This is Vaikom Muhammad Bashir. Absolutely correct. Well done, Srinand. Plus 10 for you. Good answering. Crucial answers in this round. We'll now move on to the last question of this round. Question is for Aman. Aman, the question coming up on screen now. Okay, the visual is there on screen. Your question is, this is the picture of a ruler who is called the maker of modern Travancore. Who is this ruler?
Is it Martanda Varma?
It is indeed Martanda Varma. Very good answer there. Plus 10 for you, Aman. With that, we come to the end of an exciting Kochi Cluster Finale at the Cycle Heritage Quiz 2021. It's now time to take a look at the final scores and see which two students have qualified for our national quarterfinals. So here are the final scores of the Kochi Cluster Finale. Ela, unfortunately, not your day. Ela ends up with 10 points. In a very, very high scoring quiz, 30 is sometimes a really good score, but in this quiz, it was only good enough for joint fourth spot, which is shared by Rupin and Aman. Next, we have a very brave effort from Sarang. Sarang, very well done. I think 45 is a really good score. You gave some really quality answers, but sometimes this is the way quizzing happens. Sometimes the luck doesn't go your way. But Sarang, very well done. I'm sure we'll see you in many more quizzes to come. And qualifying in second spot through the Kochi Cluster Finale is Srinand, giving some really quality answers in the last round with 55 points. And leading from start to finish is Rudashri on 70 points, qualifying for our national quarterfinals. So congratulations to Rudashri, congratulations to Srinand, commiserations to all the other participants, but very well done, Sarang, Rupin, Aman, Ela, all of you. So that was the end of a very, very exciting episode on the Cycle Heritage Quiz, the Kochi Cluster Finale, which was a very high scoring round with answers coming from every single participant and very, very high quality answers indeed. The Kochi participants, all the participants from Kerala have exhibited a great knowledge of the heritage of our nation and the heritage of their region as well. In fact, it was Rudashri who started things off by leading, and she held on to the lead from the start with some quality answers throughout the quiz. We had Srinand, who was consistent throughout, chipping in with some wonderful answers, and also Sarang, who gave Srinand very, very good competition. Aman and Rupin were also not far behind and also kept on the competition with some really, really nicely worked out answer. Ela, not today, but I'm sure there's a lot of quizzes in front of you. All of you who have not qualified today, I'm sure there's a bright future in quizzing for all of you. And Srinan and Rudashri, we'll see you at the national quarterfinals. I will meet you at another episode of the Cycle Heritage Quiz, another cluster finale. Till we meet again, stay safe, stay happy, stay curious. Goodbye from the entire team at CHQ 2021.